Come back and thank you for staying with us. And now let's take a look at the front pages of the national dailies. As usual, we'll start with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The major story here is saying terrorists kill 5 soldiers and many villagers in Katsina State, raise houses, and the military is silent in all of this. You find this story on page 9. Below that is a pictorial of the picketing that happened yesterday nationwide, where tariff hike, Labour insists on reversal, pickets the NERC and Disco's office. And of course, on the pictorial, you can see the president of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, also part of this. You find this on page 4. Tinubu directs MDAs to buy CNG-powered vehicles. This is on page 3. 3 killed as rival gangs clash in Kano. I mean, we used to hear of a clash of gangs from the eastern part, but then the northern part seem to be replicating that too. Fubara hints at probing Wike's administration. At below the below the belt rather, we see mega party talks resurface as Obi visits Atiku, Lamido, and Saraki. The federal government plans productivity-based wage system for workers. Slain FIRS official planning marriage in December. That's according to the uncle. These are the stories that you'd find on the Daily Trust newspaper. Away from the Daily Trust, we have the Punch newspaper here, where the top of the page says federal government may need supplementary budget to pay minimum wage. That's according to the IMF. Okay, CBN may intervene as Naira slides to 1,478 Naira per dollar. Atiku Obi initiates alliance talks ahead of the 2024 polls. The major story is saying electricity tariff hike. Federal government convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. The federal government to address Labour complaints. Protesters storm the NERC and block Disco's offices in Lagos. Besides that, we see POS operators drag CAC to court. The governor poll, that's the governorship poll, INEC resumes voter registration in Edo and Ondo State. Federal government plans performance based on a salary scheme for workers. Amotekun arrests 45 suspected criminals in Ondo. Delta mother, 16-year-old son found dead and 2 unconscious, a really sad situation. And there's a pictorial of the movie awards in the country that happened over the weekend. Quickly, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper there. The major story is saying Mistrust, grid stall take off of new telephony licenses in 31 states. Opposition, that's the 2024-27 opposition party leaders to meet over mega party. 265 local vessels registered abroad as Nigeria lags in registry digitalization. Obi meets Atiku, Saraki, others over Nigeria's woes. NLC, TUC pickets the NERC Disco's offices nationwide. Concerns as U.S. study visa refusals reach record levels in 2023. Stock investors lose 3.8 trillion naira in less than 2 months. And Fubara vows to probe Wike and others panel of inquiry. Now, these are the stories you'd find on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Now, we have with us, of course, our every Tuesday reviewer, Dr. Theophilus Appa, who is the program director of Daily Trust Foundation. Good morning, Doctor. It's good to have you.
Good morning.
Yes. So let's talk about the major story, which has been replicated in all the front pages of the national dailies, which is the NLC and the TUC, protesting yesterday about the tariff hike. What's your take on all of that?
Well, the protest, I think, is in order because we are being asked to pay more for less. I say more for less in the sense that if you look at, where I live, from my own personal experience, we hardly have electricity for 8 hours. It comes, then after 30 minutes it disappears. Then if you are lucky, perhaps at night, you have electricity very early in the morning, it goes off. So by the time you take cumulative record of the number of hours that electricity, it will be more than 8 hours. Now, but you now have to pay more, for less. So it is very, I don't think that is the right thing that should be in this country, because if you are increasing the electricity tariff, then we should even have electricity to start with. Now the issue is that the people running the system, the discos and the gencos, they want us to pay what I call dollar rates, but we don't earn dollars in Nigeria. You say, oh, the value of the naira has depreciated, and so you have to hike the price of, the tariff. Now, but the ordinary Nigerian who is paying for this electricity does not earn dollars. So if you hike it, how is he going to pay? It's one question that they are not answering. But then the bottom line actually is that, you see, the privatization of the electricity sector was not a success. Of course, not only electricity. Most of the privatization program that was executed from the Obasanjo to the Jonathan era, most of them failed. Because if you look at, there is no sector that you say, okay, this one was privatized and it actually worked. So, but that of electricity is so bad because people need electricity to do a whole lot of things. I'm talking about electricity in my own house. Those who have industries they need power to be able to produce. So electricity is what lubricates the economy. And now you keep increasing the price, the tariff, and then there's no corresponding supply of electricity. In most places, people have to go, to acquire generators to be able to do production. Even in the newspaper factory, if you want to print, you want to run your papers on the machine, you have to put up electricity and use your generator. And in most homes now, people are going for what you call it, solar. People are saying, look, even if I have solar of 1,000, I charge it in the, using the sun to charge, maybe to help me all through the night. So people are now looking for alternatives because of the failure of that sector. So when you now begin to talk about increasing tariff, it's like what we call an oxymoron in English, because it doesn't make sense. It's only when you are providing the services that's okay. People, if they have options, they will not go for electricity. They will not make use of electricity.
Indeed. All right. Speaking of the electricity, one of the main concerns of the labor union are saying that the Nigerian government tend to listen to the global financial, institutes and organizations like IMF and World Bank, and this was the blame of the fuel subsidy removal was also accumulated and said it was from the IMF suggestion, and then this electricity tariff. But now the IMF are also pushing, saying that the federal government may need supplementary budget in order to be able to afford the minimum wage that even Nigerians are not really okay with the percentage. What do you think about all of this? No,
but as a matter of fact, when I saw the 2024 budget and I didn't see anything that would do a minimum wage, the budget did not, indicate to us that government was planning to increase salaries. You understand? So IMF is quite right, because there is no budget for these new salaries, whatever it will come up. Even though the wage award and I think increased the salaries by 35%. 35% during the May Day celebration, and we're expecting a new salary scale. So now it is not reflected in the 2024 budget. So you need another budget to be able to pay, and that means that we need more money. We don't even know the percentage increase. But if the money is increased, then government needs to go to the National Assembly and say, well, this is what we have resolved to do. You have to approve this. So you need the approval of the federal government of the National Assembly to be able to pay. So definitely, IMF is quite right, because it's not in the budget. Yes. Although we may disagree with them on the other areas, they are telling us that you must increase electricity, you must remove subsidy on this, subsidy on that, and not they keep advising us. But the question we are asking is that, you see, you keep asking us to pay more, but we are not earning more. We are not earning more. Apart from those in government who have access to maybe the fund, if they run it out of, they can just write one memo and then pull money out of the system and fill their pocket. Apart from people who can do that, if you earn salary, your salary has not been increased, if you do businesses, the businesses are even going down.
Yeah,
because you have many people who have shops. You get that it's scanty.
Indeed.
Because the money is not there.
Indeed. All right, let's talk about what has been happening with godfatherism in the state. I mean, we spoke about this, I think, last month or last 2 months of Fubara, the problem between Fubara and Wike. And then now Fubara is hinting that there's going to be probe on Wike's administration. We see that already happening in Kaduna State, where Governor Basani is probing already into the former governors, which is Nasir El-Rufai's administration. Do you think that would be a great thing, considering there is already, a fire happening in River State, and then the add to this probing thing? Do you think it's something that would at least calm some situation or draw some line?
Well, the situation in River State is quite disturbing. Because I think even the president intervened, and even as part of that intervention, we still discovered that there is really no agreement between Wike and Fubara. Now, the problem is that, you see, probing Wike, if it is an afterthought, may not be in good faith. That is my own thinking. Because I expect that if there's going to be a probe, it shouldn't be something that is planned. It's not because Wike sponsors some lawmakers and these lawmakers are giving me headache, Wike is disturbing me, so I'm going to probe him. I don't think it's supposed to be an afterthought. If you have done preliminary investigations, or if there are reports to indicate that there were fraudulent activities when Wike was governor, you can go ahead and prove. That one is not a problem. But as far as the Rivers crisis is concerned, and this is my own personal position, I feel that there is need for a political solution. Where the political leaders in the state need to come together. People like Peter Odili, those who are Amechi, those who have been governors before, those who have been senators before, traditional rulers, they need to come together and say, look, this thing had to stop. Wike, you and Fabra, you brought this young man and made him governor. So what do we do?
It seems nobody wants to be caught in the, squabble that is happening between these two people.
You mean?
The people you made mention of, they seem to be quiet when it comes to this crisis.
Yes, that is what, and I'm thinking that is what ought to be. Because, you see, Tinubu cannot come from Abuja to solve that problem. You know yourselves. You have to come together. What are the issues? That Wike will say, okay, these are the issues. This is what I have against this young man. You might say, okay, these are the issues. This is what we have against Wike. Then you now say, let's reconcile. I think that is the way forward. Because these people are the same people. It's not like it's somebody from another part of the world who has come to rule River State. So we expect that the political leaders, the traditional rulers, the men of timber and caliber, the way we put it, in River State, ought to come together and say, look, call them together. Wike is just one man. If he's actually the architect of some of these problems, you call him to order. Say, look, you are a governor here, our son. You cannot put the state in this position simply because of your own interest. So these are the things that I expect should be done. All this idea of probing, demolishing House of Assembly, executive order to say, right now the House of Assembly cannot hold there, they can't meet there, they have to meet. All these ones are just efforts that I think will not yield results.
Everyone just
we need a measure of peace. Even you can sign executive orders and then you will not be at peace. Because you know that, this thing you are doing, you're actually straining yourself. You are doing things that are maybe extreme. So it shouldn't be so. There has to be a way of, coming together. And politicians will have to learn their lessons now. When people are voting, in an election, instead of you to allow them to choose the kind of person they want, you force your own candidate on the people. But 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months after, you abdicate office, this guy will not turn against, and we have examples everywhere. Even that of Kaduna was unthinkable, because the way it happened, we thought that, with this young man there, El-Rufai will be at peace. But it's been proved. And if you look at almost every state, it is like that. So, this idea of politicians compelling the people, to vote for a candidate, or even forcing their candidate or the people, even when they are not voted for. I mean, it is an outdated way of doing politics.
It should be. The people's voice is all that matters. All right, let's move on. Still in the matter of politics. I mean, we heard these allegations earlier saying that mega parties talk of also resurface as Obi visits Atiku, Lamido and Saraki. And Obi at that point came out to deny. We heard of this situation when there was a rumor of them merging together. But then right now, the rumor again is coming out. So do you think that is something that could be true? And do you think it would yield positive result?
Well, if you talk about mega parties, we have seen it. APC is a product of, merger of some big political parties. And if you, I don't even think it's not really clear, because they've not come to talk about mega party. I know there was a time NNPP, Labour Party, PDP say we're going to come together and all this and all that. But what I have observed is that, you see, the PDP is actually dying. You understand? And politicians may be thinking of an alternative. You see, because if you look at, what has happened to the PDP recently, look at the calibers of persons who have left the PDP. You talk about Shema of this world. Shema was a deputy national chairman of the party. He left the PDP. You understand? He had left. Then we have different people, prominent persons from all over the country, who are even, top officials of the PDP. They have left the PDP. And it's very clear that, even Atiku is not having a firm hold of the PDP. And we see Wike, is in an APC government. Is he like controlling, what happens in the PDP? So when all these things are put together, you now know that there is a very big problem in the PDP. And politicians who feel low, they are not comfortable with the nature of the PDP, the way it is now, they may say, okay, what do we do next? Let's, make another political arrangement. Because we never thought that the PDP will fall and keep falling. We thought that the PDP would provide an alternative to the APC after it lost power in 2015. But the PDP is not providing that alternative. We don't see playing that role. So and the Labour Party too is not really playing that role. In Labour Party, we only see statement from what the Peter Obi's, whether campaign organization or whatsoever, they issue a statement, we don't want to do what tinubu has done, we don't want, but that is not the kind of, role we expect the opposition to play at this time.
Doctor, away from politics, we have limited time. I just want to hear your thoughts on this major story of The Guardian saying Mistrust grid stall take off new telephony licenses in 31 states. We have the major telephone license known, that's the MTN, Airtel, Glo, and Nitel, and there seems to be no room for others to shine. What do you think about that? Quickly.
Well, I think unless there is what we call antitrust, which means that there is a conspiracy among the big ones to say, look, we are going to monopolize the market, in quote now, and we don't want new ones to come up, because I've not read it, but new telephone this thing, if I think there should be opportunities to say, okay, well, I'm not covering the whole country, I'm covering FCT. So that if that happens, I think government or NCC should give allowance for it, so that this issue of making calls and the costs are dropping. This issue of even tariffs, you are not even sure. You are making calls. For instance, you buy a credit, you don't even know. Whether you're actually being billed the right thing. After calling 4 or 5 times, that it is gone, you have to recharge and things like that. If we have alternative, it will actually be good. But NCC, which is like the regulatory, organization, should actually come and say, okay, we need more, because it's a liberalized market.
Indeed, it should be, anyways. But then, because of time, we have to put a stop to it. Thank you so much, Dr. Theophilus Akpa, for joining us to dissect the front pages. Appreciate your time. All right, and with that, of course, we've come to the end of Daybreak this Tuesday morning on Trust TV. Please do stick around. At the top of the hour, Adeni Ajishafe would bring us 360 Sport. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching us. Have a lovely day.